All right, folks, so here's another review here of my Cub Cadet ZT3 60. This is the Ultima ZT3 60-inch cut mower with the Kawasaki FS730V 24 horsepower engine. This is a workhorse engine put into a lot of different small mowing machines. Not only this Cub Cadet, I know John Deere uses them, Briggs & Stratton, the list goes on and on and on. So this is my third mowing season with this Cub Cadet Ultima ZT3 60. As you can see here, it's got 234 hours on the machine, so a little bit less than that Pro Z machine that I use as well. So essentially, I'm going to go over the pros and cons of this machine like I did before. I use this. I own a golf course. I use this machine here as a backup now to my 72-inch that I need it for. And I also use it on my own yard as well as my parents' here. So it gets a little bit of use with everything. It's great around tee boxes, great around greens. Gets the job done. It's nice and compact. It will work for your yard just fine. And this 24 horsepower engine really never gets bogged down. I've never had to worry about this engine being bogged down. It's definitely overpowered. You can get away with a 20 horse in this machine, honestly. But anyway, let's jump into it here. So again, I love Cub Cadet. I want to love Cub Cadet. I want to love the brand. You know, they try to compete with John Deere. They try to compete with the other brands out there that are a little bit higher quality, and they just quite aren't there yet. But anyway, I bought this machine, I want to say for like $5,500 or it might have been $5,000. It's been just about 3 years now. It was just about $5,000. Of course, they've all went up in price. I believe this one is like $6,500 now. Now it's getting into instead of the bargain out of all the zero-turn mowers, it's getting to be into the mainstream pricing of all zero-turns, which I think is overpriced for what you get. This is the ZT3. The only difference between the ZT3 and the ZT2 and why I went with the ZT3, my salesman, who is also a friend, sold me on these little springs right here, which are basically useless. I would never buy the springs. There's no reason why you need these. They don't affect the ride at all. If you want to have a better ride, upgrade your seat. That's basically what it comes down to. The springs are useless. Don't spend the extra $500 for that. Definitely not worth it. I would say it's just one more thing to go wrong with the machine. Anyway, jumping into the pros here, I have to say the pros, of course, are the engine. This Kawasaki FS730V 24 horse is definitely OP. It's great. It's a great engine. It's easy to service. You have your oil drain right there. You have your air filter right here to clean out after every use. I've never run into any overheating problems, and I use this mower very, very frequently in the spring and the fall for mulching and with sticks and everything like that. You've got a nice little tow hook behind there for any sort of, lawn accessory that you may be towing. Everything is just easy to get to and easy to use. It's also fairly protected as well when it comes to brush and whatnot. The other thing I want to say, I want to give it a pro, which I will also give it a con, but the ergonomics of this machine are great, and the seat kind of comes with the price range. It's a dog shit seat, if you ask me personally, but it's good enough. It gets the job done. There's no reclining on it. It's just basically foam and this fake leather, which would be vinyl, and that's it. But the adjustability you get here with the arm controls is nice. You can adjust them up and down. You can adjust them, back and forth, basically. It's pretty nice. And I do have to say the handling of this machine is great as well. It turns on a dime. And thanks to the slower speed of the machine as well, it just really turns fast, and it works fine. It's perfect for any residential property. Now, to go along with the pros, the height of cut is easy to adjust. I mean, you can't get any more direct than telling you what your height of cut is at and then pressing the lever in order to make the deck go up and down. If you want to adjust it, say I'm only at 2.5, it goes down, push it back up, and now you're at your transport height. And it's really easy to move. It is really easy to move. The tires are okay. I think they could be a tad bit bigger, to be honest with you. But they're very soft. They don't leave too much marks. And I think that's really the right choice for this machine. So one other thing, it's very lightweight. This machine is extremely light. You know, you've got your center of gravity where the driver is. You've got what weight you have over the back tires with the engine in order to have a little bit more traction. But this machine is very, very light, and that contributes to it being able to turn on a dime. So some of the cons being, again, not the overall build quality. The chassis is put together very well. And this machine does actually have some grease zerks for it too, unlike the other machine that I have. But the overall build quality when it comes to parts is just not as good. You can see there's not as many parts on this machine as there are on the other one that can break. But, you know, there still is a little bit of issues that can go wrong with it. And you can see right now how the deck is slanting forward a little bit. I think I need to adjust something on there. But I haven't had any problem with springs or anything like that yet, braking or bolts or belts. But the overall build quality just isn't quite as good as some of those other brands. But again, look at the price that you're paying. I honestly think if Cub Cadet or their parent company were to put this build quality, which is higher than my Pro Z972, onto the Pro Z972, there would be way less issues. I have yet to take this in for a warranty claim. The warranty is a pretty sweet warranty on it, 3-year unlimited hour residential warranty, and I have had no problems with it. I have yet to get any parts besides stuff for the deck, and I have to say I'm pretty happy with it. So going on to another con here, and these cons, mind you, are just kind of minor stuff. The gas tank isn't very big. I'm sure for a residential house, it's perfect, but for somebody on a golf course, it needs more gas, and you need an area to see how much gas you have left besides just looking in the tank to see how much gas you have left. But you can see springs here. Everything's fairly easy to work on. I do have to say, the one big con about this that I will gripe about, though, and that would make me want to buy a different machine, is the quality of the deck. I don't like this deck very much. I don't like how it's put together. It's very loose. I've had issues, and you can see here, I've had issues with these tires since I bought it, and that's one warranty claim I'll have to do this winter because the quality of how they put these tires on just sucks. This deck bends so easy. It's just not very strong steel, especially these welded on mounts for these plastic tires here, for the guide tires. They just aren't put on very well, and I'm constantly having to replace those. I mean, constantly. Otherwise, you know, it's a decent deck. I wish this was rubber instead of this plastic. And I would recommend Cub Cadet to get a higher quality deck on here. This is very light, very lightweight, and I can understand it's supposed to be a lightweight machine, but it needs to be better quality. Oh my gosh, that's just, it's unreasonably bad. It's unreasonably bad. But other than that, I do have to say I'm very happy with the machine. Everything's easy to use. The adjustments are easy for the speed and your straightness of the machine. Easy to work on, easy to clean. I would buy another one of these residential quality machines for my golf course out here. That's how good it has been to me and how good it is. I definitely don't have any real qualms with it, except with the deck. I'm not a huge fan of that. But otherwise, the engine is fine, transmission is fine. I'm very happy with it. I think you guys will be too. I just sometimes I struggle, you know, and this brings me up to the case I brought up in my Pro Z 972 review here. I bought 2 of these mowers basically for $20,000. I could have afforded maybe 1 John Deere with a 72-inch deck for $20,000. So I got 2 mowers for the price of 1. I have my backup. I have it under warranty. You know, it's been a reliable machine. Little did I know that Pro Z, it just wasn't going to be as reliable as I thought. This machine has been reliable, and frankly, it does what I need it to do. It's just, it's smaller and it's slower. That's what it comes down to. It's definitely a lot slower. This is one of the slower zero turns I've ever used. But as a backup, or if you're doing your yard with this, you don't need anything that needs to go super fast anyway. Just keep in mind this thing is very, very, very slow. It's definitely the slower out of all the machines out there. But as a backup, it does fine. For residential duty, it does fine. I have to give this truly probably a 7.5 out of 10 ranking here as somebody who does use it on their golf course. It's a pretty sweet ride. It's a pretty sweet ride. There are little things that can be improved, such as the deck, such as some of the tiny build quality parts and the seat. But overall, it gets the job done. It does what it needs to do. It's a lightweight package, and you're getting it at a great price compared to something else. So I would hurry, and if you guys are looking, take a look at one of these Cub Cadets. Go to your dealer. You won't be disappointed.